Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Mustache MMA, and welcome to the Breakdown Episode 6, UFC Fight Night, Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green. Bobby Green here coming in on short notice, replacing Beneil Dariush. The card's got some good fights on it, although not a lot of high-profile guys, but should be some good fights. So we're going to go ahead and break this one down. So before we do that, I'm just going to go over the results of last week. Not too bad. Another kind of even night all around. Best bets were barely negative. And then parlay plays was over positive as well. So it kind of washed out there. I'll go over those results in my other videos. But just for the breakdown results here, I went 7 of 5. A win in Chad Einheigler. Losses in Belbita, Striegel, and Rose Clark. Their opponents all won. Wins in David Onama and Mario Batista. Losses in Christian Rodriguez and Al Hassan. Their opponents won. And then wins to finish out the card in Jim Miller, Parker Porter, Kyle Dawkins, and Jamal Hill. So again, man, I went 7 and 5. 2022 results. Stand at 39 of 60 for 65% correct picks success rate. And then February results is 28 of 39, 72% correct percentage. So percentage is actually looking pretty good. I think generally, like if you're over 60% mark, if you're over the 60% mark, that's a pretty good clip. And February has been doing pretty well since we're sitting at 72%. But yeah, so those were the results of last week. So let's get into this week. If I could click on the right thing. So we got UFC Fight Night, Makhachev versus Green this Saturday, the 26th, starting a little bit earlier, 4 p.m. Anyway, first fight of the card, we got Victor Altamirano versus Carlos Hernandez. So Altamirano and Hernandez here, both coming and making their UFC debut, both getting split decision victories on the Contender Series. So a pretty good, I guess, matchup, if you will, since they had previous fights that ended very similarly. But anyway, going into Altamirano, decent stand-up, but he throws a lot of volume. He tends to work the body a lot too. So not necessarily one of these guys who is a headhunter. Technicality is there, and he does work in the body a lot and throw a good amount of volume. Takedown defense is not very good at all, though. Definitely very below average. He gets taken down pretty easily. And then on the other side, his takedown offense is pretty decent. He doesn't use it too often, but he can get those takedowns if need be in certain situations. Depending on the opponent. Kind of going on into his takedown defense. His defense isn't great, but he also more of just kind of like allows himself to get taken down every time because he doesn't mind being on his back. He will, if he gets to that close situation where, it's a 50-50 mark, and if he will or will not get taken down, he's just going to pull guard. He does that a lot. So pulls guard often, and he's a really active guard. He tries to throw up a lot of different submission attempts and moving, a lot of strikes from guard. He'll throw elbows from guard on your head, so on and so on. Cardio is a little questionable, I think. A lot of the fights I saw, he tends to seem that he definitely slows down in the third round. So doesn't gas himself out, has a pretty solid first and mainly solid second round. But when that third round comes around, you can definitely see his momentum, his cardio definitely decrease than how it was in the first and second. Moving on to Hernandez, he's got pretty decent stand-up as well. However, he's a little different. He's more movement, so he has really good movement on the feet, which I do like. Also, he throws a good amount of volume as well. So kind of a pretty good matchup. These guys stand up. They fare pretty well against each other, and they throw good volume. So it should be a good one to open up the card here. Moving on with Hernandez, his takedown defense is okay. It's nothing special, but it's not terrible. Grappling isn't bad either. So he's a decent grappler. He can fend himself on his back and work his way up or create scramble situations. When he's on top, he's decent transitions, decent control. So overall, it's totally average. It's nothing special, but he can work with it and use it to his advantage in a fight. Really good cardio though. This guy's does definitely have good cardio. He can put on a good pace for all 3 rounds. Also super good chin, very durable guy. He's been clipped before by some pretty heavy shots, been able to recover, been able to eat those shots and come back and get some victories. So official pick here, I'm going to go Carlos Hernandez. I just like his cardio better. I like his movement on the feet better. I don't like that Altamirano likes to pull guard a lot. I don't think that's going to favor well in the judge's eyes. So yeah, give me Carlos Hernandez to win this one as the first fight of the card. Moving on, we got Ramiz Brahimaj versus Michael Gillmore. Brahimaj coming here on short notice as well. Or coming on short notice. There is a good amount of fighters here coming in on short notice that we'll get into eventually. Almost like 4 or 5, I want to say. But Brahimaj is the first one that we will see. I went over Brahimaj in the first card of the year when he fought Court McGee. I was really high on him, and he just did not really show up at all. He couldn't get Court McGee down. Court McGee has really good takedown defense, and that proved to really spoil Brahimaj's plans of getting a victory. But anyway, going into this fight, Brahimaj, elite offensive ground game. If he gets you down, it's dangerous. It's probably over, essentially, especially if you're not that good on the ground. Super explosive in the first round. He does slow in the second and the third, but, he is hunting for that first round submission finish every time, and he has a lot of those on his resume. I believe all of his wins are from first round submission. If not, they're all definitely in the first round. He has decent stand-up. He does have pretty good power in his hands, although he's never knocked anybody out. He does throw hard, I will say, at least. Technicality really isn't there, to be honest, but he does throw hard, so you don't want to get hit with those. Also takedowns. His takedowns are above average, I think. Still, we saw in his last fight, Court McGee was able to stuff every takedown that came his way. But Court McGee does have really, really good takedown defense. So I don't hold that against him too much. We saw in his Max Griffin fight as well that he didn't even try to do a takedown. And then his other victory in the UFC, he got a takedown pretty quick, was able to just dominate that guy, get a first-round submission. So it seems to be that if he does choose to go to the ground and get you to the ground, it's not going to be good for you. Michael Gillmore, really tough guy, really good chin. His stand-up is decent. He has really nice counters, actually, that he throws. He's more of a counter striker where he's looking to connect off of something that you miss. Super heavy leg kicks as well, throws a lot of them. The thing is, his takedown defense is okay. It's nothing special, and he's just really bad on the ground, especially on his back. So, I think it's really going to be, is Ramiz going to be able to get the takedown? Yes, I think he is. And then it's pretty much over from there. As long as there's a good enough amount of time in the round when Brahimaj lands that takedown, Brahimaj is probably going to get the finish here. So, yeah, I like Ramiz Brahimaj to win this one pretty easily. And I'm pretty confident on that one. Moving up the card, we got Alejandro Perez versus Jonathan Martin. Perez, really well-rounded guy, man. I mean, he's got good grappling, good boxing, decent wrestling. It's nothing crazy special, but it's pretty decent. He can hold himself with some other guys, in the division. The thing about Perez, though, on the feet, he does have good boxing, but he really does lack volume in a lot of times. He doesn't really like to throw too much. And on top of that, his striking accuracy isn't great. He struggles to, connect on the mark. Although, the technicality looks good, he's missing a lot. He does have decent power, though. So, if he is able to connect with one of those shots, he may be able to put your lights out. He's also really good at keeping his head off the center line, making it really difficult for his opponents to, find out where his chin's going to be and connect with those shots, combinations, whatever they may be. Pretty solid takedown defense. He likes to keep the feet on the. He likes to keep the fight on the feet, however. So although I said he has decent wrestling, he has pretty good grappling. Generally, it's all defensive. He likes to keep it on the feet. He likes to strike. He has a really good chin as well. He's only been KO'd once in his 31 fight career. And let's see who that was by. Song Yeon. So, yeah. Song Yudong has crazy power in the division. You know, he does have a few, I believe, submission losses on his resume, but the only one to put him away entirely was Song Yudong, who's got some of the best power in the division. So not, you know, too concerned that that is gonna, you know, holding too much weight on his chin. It's pretty good. Moving over to Martinez, really good technical striker. He's got decent power, but, you know, it's nothing crazy. You know, we saw him more recently drop Davy Grant in the first round before Davy Grant came back and dropped him in the second and got the win. Jonathan Martinez was looking pretty good in that fight until getting caught. Martinez, he throws really good volume on the feet. I like that he does throw a lot of volume. He does keep up a pretty high pace. He has really strong knees up the middle. He throws them a lot and pretty consistently as well. And I like those knees a lot. Good takedown defense as well. It's tough to take this dude down. He's got heavy hips, good sprawl. And then I put questionable chin. Maybe not. I don't know. You know, Davy Grant knocked him down and finished him out. You know, Davy Grant does have power, you know, big looping shots. You know, one was able to connect and put him away. But I just think his chin actually is pretty decent. It's tough to say. I do trust the chin here, especially against Alejandro Perez. I think Martinez, you know, he has the better technical striking probably, and he's going to throw a lot more volume. And I think that's going to get him a decision victory here. So official play is going to be Jonathan Martinez. Moving up the card, we got Jihn Frey versus Hannah Goldy. Frey, a really technical striker, but she essentially has no power at all, just all technique there. But it is pretty good technique. She's really great takedown defense, really hard to get taken down. She has a pretty high percentage in stuffing most of those takedowns. On the other end, you know, her takedowns are decent herself, takedown offense. I wouldn't say it's anything incredible, but, you know, she has been shown that she can get other women to the ground. And if she gets them to the ground, she has pretty good top control. You know, she's able to really hold those women down, control them for a favorable amount of time. On the feet, her defense-wise, she's super hittable on the feet. You know, a lot of people able to connect pretty easily on her. She's kind of a brawler, if you will, but again, she doesn't have that power. But yeah, super hittable. But she does have a good chin to back it up. You know, I don't believe she's been knocked out too many times in her career. So I'm not too worried about that chin. I think it holds up pretty well. She has been knocked out twice, actually. Let's see by who. One was a doctor stoppage, and then the other was from a pretty notable Japanese fighter. So yeah, I think her chin is pretty good. Moving on to Goldy, she's if you see her in her fights or have ever seen her before, even looking on this Tapology, she's pretty ripped for a female. Really strong. Her striking is decent. Again, probably Jihn Frey has a technicality advantage here. But Hannah Goldy does throw a ton of volume. So, you know, she's throwing those volume. Frey is, you know, easily susceptible to getting hit a lot. You know, Goldy could have some success on the feet, although she's not as technical as Frey. Hannah Goldy's takedown defense is pretty poor, honestly. It seems like she can get taken down pretty easily. She's not great off her back. She seems to be easily controlled as well when she does get taken down. Although in her last victory, she did have an armbar from her back. So, you know, it seems like she has been working in that area. But she's not going to want to stay on her back too long with Frey. She doesn't want to get too comfortable down there. It's not going to look good in the judges' scorecards, or in their eyes for the scorecards. Yeah, so official pick here, I'm actually going to go with Hannah Goldy. I think her volume is going to really be good here. I think Frey is just too open to being hit. I think Goldy may have some success stuffing some takedowns. Reason being, I believe Frey has been a strawweight her whole career. Hannah Goldy kind of jumps back and forth between flyweight and bantamweight. So Mixing that up. Frey has been a strawweight mainly her career at 115. Hannah Goldy jumps between strawweight and flyweight. So I think Hannah Goldy is going to be the bigger girl here. She's going to be stronger. I think it's going to be tougher for Frey to get that takedown. And her takedown defense, again, it's nothing special. So I think Goldy, she's going to be able to stop it. Her volume's going to be a problem for Frey. Frey's going to get hit a lot. It's going to look good in the judges' scorecards because she's throwing so much volume and landing so much. So yeah, going to go with Hannah Goldy as the official pick. Fun one here, Terrance McKinney versus Fares Ziam. So McKinney, we know him last time out, made his UFC debut, knocked out Matt Frevola in like 8 seconds. Really impressive with a quick 1-2. Didn't even seem like he put too much power behind it. So yeah, great start for him. Coming up now against a really good opponent and a really good prospect here in Fares Ziam. McKinney striking looks really good, pretty technical. He's got good power, but at times it does definitely get a little wild. He also has really good wrestling on top to match with that. He's decent grappling too. His takedowns, they look pretty good. They look pretty nice. He's able to get a lot of success with those takedowns. Super explosive guy, super aggressive guy, high pace, high pressure, always looking to finish the fight. The thing with that, however, is his cardio is a little questionable. You know, again, he's not one of those guys who gasses completely and is totally done. Definitely just slows down as the rounds progress, and in the third, he's slowed pretty significantly. On top of that, a little questionable fight IQ. I've seen in a couple of fights previously in some of the other promotions that he's been in besides the UFC. He's done some things that are just not good, like something like hurting your opponent and then going to the wrestling, or having a game plan and not going in with it. Things along those lines that, it's just something you don't like to see with a fighter, especially putting money on them. Ziam, moving on to him, solid kickboxing, really good kickboxing, really super technical. On top of that, he's really good striking defense. He's hard to hit, actually, maintains distance really well, and is able to kind of hold his opponent at range until he can come in and give his strikes. His takedown defense is pretty good. However, if he does get taken down, he's not that great off his back. He's not terrible, but he's not great at all. He can get held there and get trapped there for a little bit, especially if the opponent has some pretty decent top control pressure. We've seen him in the past, have the ability to create some sweeps and get on top himself, or even make scramble situations. So although not great off the back, he's not a submission threat off the back. But he can kind of turn the tide, if you will, against his opponents and create sweeps and scrambles. Patient striking, though, not a whole lot of volume that he throws. I said low to mid-level volume. And then it seems like in a couple of his fights where I've seen him get pressured heavily, he doesn't handle that pressure all too well, and he can get hit more, and the technicality and the defense starts to fade a little bit. And I think that's going to be a problem here because McKinney, as we know, high pace, high pressure. Ziam, I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that well, and I think McKinney is going to take advantage of that. Also, McKinney, he's a pretty good wrestler, good takedowns. He may be able to mix in that wrestling really well, and that's going to fare well for him. Official play here is going to be Terrance McKinney to get the win. Moving on, we got Josiane Nunez versus Ramona Pascual. Ramona coming in as a last minute replacement in a week's notice about. Nunez, really good power. She's gotten a lot of finishes on her resume. That's pretty good showing for female. She has good power for a female. And she throws a lot of volume too. She's super aggressive. A bit wild though, but ton of volume, really good power behind everything. She's a brawler. She's also a headhunter. Doesn't really hit the body too much. But she is looking to hit your chin with big power shots every time. Excuse me. really good chin on herself as well. So again, she's a brawler. She wants to go in there and make it a dirty fight and just exchange. And she knows she's going to get the better of the exchange because she's got the power to put them away and she can handle the shots. Super tough along with that. Good chin. High pace, high pressure. Cardio, questionable, however. How long can she last? How long can she keep up that pressure? We haven't seen her going into those later rounds very often. She closes the distance really well as well. She does tend to have not the biggest reach compared to other women. Here, there is probably no reach advantage, disadvantage for either of them, as it looks like they probably both have a very similar reach. Her only loss on her resume, she's 8-1. Her only loss has been to Talia Santos, who Talia Santos is a really top tier, top prospect girl in the division, and she had a pretty decent fight with her as well. Moving on with Pascual, her stand-up's okay. She has a Muay Thai background, so she has that going for her. Decent grappling, but she has pretty good top control. Heavy ground and pound, actually. So when she gets on the ground, she's pretty aggressive with that ground and pound, and really throws those big shots. She also consistently looks for a pretty good crucifix. That's something that she looks for a lot as well. Kind of trap one of those arms with her legs, and then a wrist control on the other, and just pound away with the open fist. Takedowns are okay at best. I don't think they're anything special. She's a natural featherweight as well, so this fight's being taken place at featherweight. Josiane Nunez generally a bantamweight at 135, so she could have the weight advantage here. So it may pose a problem for Nunez potentially, but again, I don't think it will. I think Nunez has a huge advantage in striking. I think she'll probably be able to keep this one on the feet because I don't think the takedowns are that good from Ramona. So yeah, official pick here, I'm going to go Josiane Nunez. Moving up the card, we got Ignacio Bahamondes versus Rong. Bahamondes coming off a really good victory over Roosevelt Roberts, where to the very end of the fight, where Roberts just essentially gave up in the third round. He landed a pretty nice spinning heel kick, something like that. Spinning wheel kick. So yeah, Bahamondes totally dominated him in that fight. So really nice, impressive showing. And Rong also, I believe, coming off a victory as well over probably a lesser known opponent. Blanking on his name, but he had a pretty good showing as well. Going into Bahamondes, great technical striker, kickboxer is his background. He throws heavy volume. With a lot of pressure. So he's going to constantly be walking you down, throwing a ton of stuff, lots of kicks, lots of punches. Really tall and really long for the division. He's 6'3", which I don't know how you make lightweight as a 6'3" human being, which is just absolutely insane to me how he does that. Going on to his striking as well, continuing on with that, he does work the body a lot as well. He has a good mix between body shots, head shots, kicks to the body, kicks to the head, so on and so on. Really great cardio. He puts on that high pace, high pressure for all 3 rounds. He doesn't stop. So that's something that is a big advantage to him. Good takedown defense as well. He's not really known for his ability to be on the ground, and he's able to stuff a lot of those takedowns. However, if he does get taken down, he's not terrible off his back. He does have the ability to create scrambles or get back up to his feet. He doesn't tend to be taken down and stay there for too long. On top of that, he's a pretty good chin, so he's able to eat a lot of big shots, in his fights. Rong. Really good power, decent technical striking, but Bahamondes probably going to have the edge in the technicality here. Rong maybe having an edge in the power. It's close, but maybe I do give it to Rong. Rong, decent wrestling, decent grappling, decent top control. Again, it's nothing special. A lot in his fights, you'll see him kind of look over to his corner to kind of have them give advice into what he should do next. It seems like he doesn't know naturally what to do when he is in that wrestling grappling situation. Rong is a headhunter though, constantly throwing shots at the head. Not a lot of body work. Again, going back to the ground game, if he does get you on the ground, generally it's more him controlling a lot of the time. But when he does let loose the ground and pound, it is heavy and they're big shots and they can hurt the opponent pretty bad. Rong on the other end, really good chin, but his submission defense is a little bit poor. He's 4 losses on his resume. A couple of them are via submission. I believe he's never been knocked out before. So 3 submission losses, never been knocked out. Really good chin. I haven't really even seen him hurt or wobble before as well. So he could definitely take those shots. But anyway, official pick here is going to be Ignacio Bahamondes. I think the technicality, the pressure, the pace is just going to be too much for Rong, and he's just going to get beat up over 3 rounds. Moving up the card, we got Gergory Rodriguez versus Armen Petrosyan. This is a really fun fight. Definitely tune into the main card if you can't the prelims, because this fight is going to start the main card and it's going to be really fun. So Gergory Rodriguez, super high-level grappler. This dude's got really smooth transitions, super dangerous submission threat. He probably has some of the best grappling in the middleweight division. Decent wrestling, it's nothing special, but it's good enough to get the job done and get him to the grappling game. He's a variety of takedowns he uses. He's good at doubles, singles, trips. I believe he does some judo throws as well. Striking's decent. It's not very technical at all, but he does have power. If you ever see this dude, he's huge. He's very muscular. Kind of continuing on with his stand-up, his striking defense is not really the best at all either. He does just leave his chin up in the air a lot, and he's been rocked before. His last fight, he somehow got a win over his opponent. They were just trading back and forth, essentially. It looked like he was done, but then he came back and got the win somehow. So it's a really exciting fight. Questionable cardio, though, and somewhat questionable chin. Like I said, he's been rocked before. He's been knocked out before as well in his Contender Series fight with what's his name? Let's check. He fought recently and he got knocked out himself. Jordan Williams, that's right. Moving on to Petrosyan, he's making his UFC debut. He had a pretty impressive performance on the Contender Series, where he's fighting kind of a grappler and a wrestler, and he was able to hold his own for a while. He got taken down a couple times, but was able to get back up, and then came back and got a pretty impressive finish on the feet. Great stand-up. This dude's pretty technical and really big power as well. Puts on a high pace, high pressure when it is on the feet. The only way to stop this dude down is get in the clinch, wrestle with him a little bit. But, his takedown defense is okay. He can get taken down a lot, but he's good to get back up to his feet quickly. And he's shown that in a lot of his previous fights. He's hard to keep down there, hard to control down there. Also, another big, strong guy. Both these guys are really big, really strong for the division. Armen Petrosyan actually used to fight at light heavyweight before, coming down and trimming down the middleweight. So, the size difference here is going to be pretty comparable, as Rodriguez is also a very big middleweight. Questionable cardio, I guess, for Armen Petrosyan. It seems to hold up. He has had late round finishes on his resume, but I'm not 100% confident that this dude's cardio is crazy, and he can keep up his high pace pressure throughout all 3 fights. So officially, my prediction is going to be Armen Petrosyan. Reason I like him, Gergory Rodriguez sometimes seems to kind of be in love with the stand-up a little bit too much. His wheelhouse is the grappling game, and sometimes he just doesn't want to take it there. He just leaves it up to his stand-up. And yes, he does have power on the feet. Yes, his stand-up is decent, but his defense isn't that good. And if he's going to try and stand with Armen Petrosyan, I think Armen Petrosyan is going to knock him out cold, especially with that questionable chin, being kind of rocked before in fights, being knocked out before in fights. And on the other hand, even if Rodriguez does try to wrestle and grapple with Petrosyan, I think he's going to be able to hold up. He may get taken down a couple times, but I think he'll be able to eventually, every time, get back to his feet, stay safe, and then get back to that striking game where he's going to have the big edge. So yeah, official prediction, Armen Petrosyan. Moving up the card, we got another Armen here, Armen Tsarukyan versus Joel Alvarez. Again, another exciting fight here. Armen Tsarukyan coming off, like, I believe it's a 5-fight win streak in the UFC, only losing once in the UFC by Islam Makhachev, so that shows you kind of where he's at on the lightweight level here. And then Joe Alvarez as well, I think also only losing once in the UFC as well. I forget who it was, but also riding a pretty high win streak, coming off a pretty impressive victory over Thiago Moises. So yeah, he's on a 4-fight win streak. And again, he lost to Damir Islamgulov. I forgot about that. He's a very excellent fighter. So both these guys coming in, dropping their UFC debuts, and they're going undefeated in the UFC since then. So yeah, this fight will be very, very fun. Breaking down Armen Tsarukyan first, really high-level wrestler, relentless pace, kind of pressure type thing, similar to that Khabib type style. Makhachev-like style, if you will, nowadays, since he's the protege of Khabib. Good striking, technical mainly, with some decent power. His last time out, he was able to get a finish, but he doesn't have too many finishes in the UFC. A lot of his UFC fights have gone to decision. He did fight Matt Frivola before, who we've seen in the past be a little chinny. And Tsarukyan wasn't really able to put him away, although he did engage in the wrestling a majority of that fight. Really good striking defense as well. He's hard to hit. He's good movement. Keeps the head off the center line. Good grappling as well to compare with that wrestling. And good grappling defense. Like I said, he went the distance with Islam Makhachev. He looked pretty good in that fight, even though definitely convincingly, obviously losing. But he looked pretty decent. He was able to hold his own with the wrestling, with the grappling, with Islam. Islam couldn't put him away. So if you're able to go all 3 rounds with Islam Makhachev, it's a pretty good accomplishment. Even if it is a loss. Jose Alvarez on the other side, super high level grappler, has a ton of submission victories on his resume, very, very dangerous off his back. A lot of times he does even just kind of pull guard because he is super confident on his back. He has a lot of submission victories off his back. If things aren't necessarily working in that department where he's trying to get submissions, he does have a very good ability to create sweeps, scrambles off the back, and eventually get back up to his feet. But sometimes he definitely is way too comfortable down there, which is not necessarily where he wants to be in the judges' eyes if it were to go to a decision. But Joel Alvarez, only going to decision in his career, I believe, once. So yeah, yep, all his wins are from finish, and only going to a decision once, which was a loss against Damir Ismagulov. Some of these names just tough to pronounce when I've been talking for 30 minutes. Moving on with Alvarez. His stand-up's decent when he's aggressive. Sometimes he's not aggressive with the stand-up, and it's just all right. He doesn't throw a whole lot of volume. But we saw in his last fight against Thiago Moises, he was super aggressive in his face, throwing a lot, and that was a problem. He looked really, really good on the feet. He has super heavy leg kicks that he throws in a lot of his fights, and he works in the body as well a lot. He's not just head hunting. He throws a lot of elbows, a lot of knees, a lot of variety of different strikes. He looked good on the feet in his last fight. Although Thiago Moises, definitely known for his grappling, he's a pretty good striker in his own. So that was a really impressive performance to get that first-round finish. Alvarez, again, super tall, super long reach for this division. He's going to have at least a 4-inch reach advantage here, which could pose a problem for Armenian Tsarukyan to maybe, with his striking, if Joel is able to maintain that distance well, could pose a threat. Here's another lightweight. Again, he's 6'3" and he's a long reach. I don't know how these guys are able to make weight. Alvarez in the past has shown that he does have trouble making lightweight. He's gone overweight a couple of times, and I believe Tsarukyan also sometimes has that issue as well. He has done that in the past. Um, um, uh, Official pick here is going to be Armen Tsarukyan, actually. I like Joel Alvarez, and I do like the odds on him because he is like a plus 200 something underdog here for whatever reason. I think it's closer than that, but I think I do like Armen Tsarukyan to edge him out. I think he's better in the stand-up, definitely a little more technical. His wrestling is definitely there, and the thing that's going to be big is his submission defense is pretty good. Um, Joel Alvarez being that top-notch submission guy, having 16 submission victories on his resume, being comfortable on his back, where Tsarukyan may implement the wrestling a lot here. But I think Tsarukyan's going to be able to play it safe here. He's going to be smart. He has good submission defense to stay out of that trouble, and he has good technical striking that may have an edge over Joel Alvarez. So yeah, official pick's going to be Armen Tsarukyan, but I do not mind a Joel Alvarez dog play if you are betting. But again, these picks that I do for the breakdown, they have nothing to do with odds. Moving on, we got Pracilla Cashoeira versus Yeon Kim. Cashoeira, she's got pretty good power, but not very technical on the feet. She's also super hittable on the feet. Decent takedown defense. Doesn't take it really to the ground herself. She just likes to stand up and pretty much throw power shots. Her last fight, she got submitted by Gillian Robinson at the end of the fight. I don't really like Cashoeira. She's a really dirty fighter. Gillian Robinson, she was like eye gouging her at the end of that fight. There's been other fights before where the ref has come in and like tried to stop it, and obviously he is like trying to block her, and the girl that she's fighting is like semi unconscious, but she's done, and she's like still throwing even though the ref is like in the middle of them. Man, she's just a dirty fighter. I don't know why she's still in the UFC after that eye gouge she did in the last fight, and I really hope Kim puts her away here. And sends her packing home out of this league, because that's a bunch of bullshit. She shouldn't be in here anymore. She's eye gouging people like that, and it was blatantly, obviously, on purpose. Jeon Kim, nice technical boxing, really good movement, really good footwork, bouncing, side to side, up and down, pretty consistently. Good chin on her, but she definitely leaves it open. She's super hittable on the feet. She throws good volume. She has really great cardio. Puts on a really high pace for 3 rounds. I'm going to pick Kim officially. I don't think Cashoeira is she's good. She has that power. She has a puncher's chance here. If she lands a good shot on Kim and Kim maybe gets dropped, that could be a problem. But Kim again has a good chin. So I think she may be able to hold up. I think Kim's got the technical striking. She's just going to piece her up for 3 rounds. So official pick is going to be Yeon Kim. Misha Cirkunov versus Wellington Turman. Another one. Wellington Turman coming in on short notice here. Misha Cirkunov, this is his second fight at middleweight. He was a ranked light heavyweight for the longest time. Decided to come down to middleweight because he wasn't having as much success recently. Cirkunov, really good wrestling. He has really nice takedowns. Really good grappling as well. Good top pressure, good top control. He's definitely a big submission threat, especially if he's on top. Decent stand-up as well. It's nothing special, but it's improved a lot over the years. Super strong guy. Like I said, light heavyweight for the longest time. Now he cuts down to middleweight. He's going to be big and strong for this division. Decent cardio, but definitely slows down. And then chin is a little questionable. He's been rocked a lot in his previous fights. And he's been finished as well. But again, that was at light heavyweight. Those guys have some bigger power. So we'll see how it holds up in middleweight. His last fight, I believe, went the distance with a decent opponent in, Jocko. And Jocko's got pretty good power in his own right. So moving on to Wellington Turman, he's got good takedown defense here, which could match well with Cirkunov. Really good grappling as well. Also good grappling defense. He's never been submitted in his career. His striking is decent. It's not very technical, not too much power, but again, it's not terrible. Good cardio, questionable chin. He's been knocked out a couple times in his career. Definitely open to counters a lot on the feet. So official pick here, I'm going to pick Cirkunov. I think the wrestling is probably going to work here. I don't know if he's going to be able to get that submission because Terrance has shown that he's pretty durable in the submission game and the submission defense game. Maybe Cirkunov getting a finish on the feet or even a ground and pound victory I could see as well. But yeah, I don't really favor Wellington Terrance too much. I don't think he's that great. And Cirkunov, I still think he's pretty good, even though, you know, he is getting older now. So yeah, official pick going to be Misha Cirkunov. And coming on to the main event, Islam Makhachev versus Bobby Green. Bobby Green, of course, coming in here on short notice in place of Neil Darush. We all know Islam Makhachev, super high-level wrestling, some of the best wrestling you'll ever see in the UFC. Super high-level grappler as well. Knows exactly how to transition very smoothly. Very good control on the ground. Constantly moving to improve his position and find those areas where he can get a submission. Huge submission threat. Constant pressure guy. Same style as Khabib. And then Bobby Green, man, we saw him in his last fight 2 weeks ago against Nasser Hakparas. Great technical striking, really good striking defense, you know, hard to hit, rolls. He constantly does the shoulder roll and counter kind of thing. Really good takedown defense in his own as well. You know, coming up against Makhachev, that's going to be important here because obviously Makhachev's going to want to take this to the ground where Green is not as good. Great vision, you know. This dude sees everything coming his way in terms of striking and even in the takedowns when they come in. And that's why he is so successful with those takedowns because he sees them coming from a mile away. Hands at his hips as well. Throws punches at his hips. Hard to see those punches coming. And, you know, it leaves his chin exposed. But, again, he's really good striking defense to where he can avoid those big shots. Throws a ton of volume, has great cardio. You know, I have no issues here with a 5-round fight because he always looks so good in a 3-round fight and never slows down, never stops the output. Works in the body a lot, very well. Really good chin as well. Can take some big shots. So official pick here is going to be Islam Makhachev. You know, Bobby Green has never faced a wrestler of this high level, a grappler of this high level, and I don't think he's going to fare well, especially coming on short notice. I would love to see Bobby Green win here. I think that would be great, and it'd be awesome. See him stuff a bunch of takedowns or something and just piece Islam Makhachev up on the feet and tire him out or something like that. But I just don't see it happening. I think it's the tiniest slim chance. So yeah, official pick here, definitely going to be Islam Makhachev. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Let me know who you guys have picked down in the comments below. If you liked any of my picks or my breakdowns, let me know below. Or if you didn't like them, let me know down below. 2 more videos coming out later this week, best bets, and also my parlay plays video. And then shout out steadypicks.com. If you guys don't know steadypicks.com, they're a free betting consultation website. You have access to the SteadyPicks system, all the contributor picks from Tom, Ricky, and Donnie, as well as you'll get UFC picks from Sean Brady, the top 10 welterweight, as well as you'll see my best bets on there as well. So yeah, it's completely free to sign up. So head out there and check it out. They also have Steady Picks Radio, where they consistently have a lot of great content in their radio show. You'll also find this audio file on their radio show as well. So shout out to all you Steady Picks viewers on the Steady Picks Radio. I appreciate you guys listening in on that platform. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you later this week for the other 2 videos. Take it easy.